What's up? We back with another episode of 411 Uncut. Today, we got very special guest Luze Skrew with us. What's going on?
Oh, what it do, man? It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, so glad to have you on 411 Uncut when we're invading Atlanta. Luze Skrew, you from Marshallville, Georgia. Let the people know, man. What is it like out there? Because I didn't never heard of it before, but it's home for you.
Yeah, Marshallville is home. 31057. Marshallville is one of those places that's very low populated. A lot of people surprised when I tell them that the population there is 1,000 people. Maybe 1,200 the most.
Wow.
But it's one of those populated areas where everybody know everybody. It's a real loyal type of environment. Because it's like you was to do anything uptown or downtown to hit within a matter of seconds. So it's like one of those type of things. You can get the news about anything at any time. Man,
so it's really only 1,000 people like in the city.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was?
And it hasn't. That's like decreasing. Like the highest it probably has been. I think maybe like when I checked the census was like 2007, 2008. I think the maximum was like maybe 1,300 people. But it's decreased, over about maybe like 39% over the past few years.
Wow. Do a lot of people like move out from there because it's so small and they want a bigger city life?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it is a bigger city. You could say a bigger city life. I think people just want more in general because you're surrounded. You have surrounding cities like Warner Robins and Macon. Warner Robins is a very popular city, so when people travel to Warner Robins, you got the major highway that go through it, so it's a lot of action that go through there. So people are more prone to want to move out, even though it's still close to home. It's a little bit of an expansion for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, is Marshallville like North Georgia? Is it
South, all the way south.
Okay.
It's close to Albany, Valdosta. Yeah, if you're familiar with Fort Valley, it's right outside of Fort Valley, Georgia.
Okay, for sure.
Right outside of it.
Now, growing up, because it's small, close, and I'm pretty sure your family was really close knit. Being from a smaller market, a smaller city, you got your family if you don't got anything, for sure. And I know you grew up in a church a lot. Tell me about your experiences in growing up. Did you have any siblings or anything?
Yeah, I do have an older brother. I got an older brother and a younger sister. I'm the middle child. For those who know about the Middle Child Chronicles, So, but as far as like my church life, like I say, growing up in that type of small area, it's one of those things that you see on the movies. Like that Sunday getting together, those type of thing was important. Every Sunday we go to church and then we either at my grandmother's house or my auntie house having dinner. That's one of those type of things. And you got Bible study on Tuesday, prayer on Thursday, church on Sunday. You know how it goes. So, yeah, it's same old routine, and that's what everybody accustomed to.
Right.
So yeah, the church. Coming up in the church though, it had its perks though, because I got my foundation in the church just from even writing. Doing poetry and stuff like that. A little bit of everything. In the church, but it'll be surprising to know like what I actually was able to like develop just from going to church.
Man, because a lot of kids, I mean, in the South, it seems like this is different for different markets and regions. But in the South, I can really tell, especially within the Black culture, like church as a kid was very prominent in a lot of people's lives. Why do you think that is?
I think it's more so just from a sense of structure, if anything, because we all gonna listen to the adults, we're gonna listen to the grown-ups, but even the grown-ups is they going to church to get certain personal things that they need themselves. Because one thing about it is in the South we stick with a lot of I guess you would call them like cultural mantras, and we repeat these cultural mantras all the time, and it comes from these southern type of areas. And just like a hard head make a soft ass, it's like certain things like that. It's like not going to church, that's a statement that you'll hear behind that. Not wanting to go to church, little stuff like that. So it kind of forces you to come up with some type of guidance and structure, and more so to just build that moral background for yourself. That's what I will say.
Now, when you grow older, like, do you still attend church as much as you did as a kid, or did you kind of like stray away from that as you got older?
I started to stray away from the church. You know, I came up in the church a lot, like as far as, and early too, you know, 7, 8 years old, just actually like on a journey spiritually, trying to, you know, seek a higher power, seek the highest conscience, and understand what it is that we're here to do. You know, so it's like with church, it was more so one of them things where once I got older, a lot of the things that I was experiencing, it wasn't adding up with what the religion aspect was saying, you know? So it forced me to continue on to my journey and just seek other knowledge, you know, other biblical texts and history, you know, and I'm an avid reader, you know, I read every day, you know, so it's like for me, I don't mind going to pick up a book, go to Barnes & Nobles and go to the history section itself and just get a whole bunch of books, because somebody wrote this stuff for a reason. Man. You know, and they always say if you don't want a black person to know something, put it in a book.
Put it in the book.
You know, so it's like, let me go see what's in these books.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So yeah, as I got old, I started to I started to go on my own spiritual journey.
What age you say you was at that time when you decided to kind of start taking your own? And because I'm pretty sure since you grew up in such a close household like that, were your parents still trying to bring you back into it, or did they let you go learn? I was more so kind of like the outlaw, honestly, because while everybody else was just believing what they was reading, I was applying what I was reading, and the outcomes that I was getting wasn't the same as what everybody else was teaching me. So it's just, for me, it forced me to say, I understand what y'all saying, but I do have my own life too. And, you know, I had a life where it forced me to seek out on my own, because, like, you know, at 12, around that age, 11, 12 years old, when I really started to seek out on my own journey, this was around the time when my father had went to prison. You know, my father went to prison for like 3 years, but at this time is when I found out that my real father, actually who was in my life at the time, wasn't my real father. You know, so it's like, he had been there since birth. Yeah. At this time, and you're thinking that the man that has just went away is your dad, and you end up finding out that biologically he's not.
Right. So it just made me I think for anybody, it makes you have a sense of inquisitive. You want to be you want to be inquisitive about it, you know, and it's not, you know, most times they tell you in grown folks' business, but it's like they fail to realize this is my life, you know. So I became very inquisitive about a lot of things, and that was one of them, you know, because I felt like, for one, it's like it had been like held from me, you know. So I feel like any child, when you keep certain things from it, we all know, you know, just from a psychological standpoint, when you keep a child sheltered or keep them away from things, when they get from under your watch, they gonna go and do it anyway. Absolutely. You know, we all done did that. So it's like, that was more so what I did. You know, it's like, when I'm around y'all, I listen to what y'all saying, but when I'm not around y'all, I'm gonna go and do my own thing.
Did you ever feel slighted because it was something that everybody knew that was kept from you as a kid? Like, it was like, well, you know this, somebody else probably knew, but I didn't know, and this is my life. Did you feel slighted by that?
Yeah, very. It's more so like, I just feel like I was lied to. And I mean, now that I'm older, and even with my psychology background, there's so much knowledge and information that changes your perspective on everything about you growing up. You know, it's even just looking into people like Eric Erickson and looking at how he breaks down the different things about the stages of development. You know, and it's like, when I'm reading this information, it's like, oh, when I was at that age, I remember what I was going through. And now you not only have the experience, but you got the psychological terms or the scientific terms to be able to match it with what you had going on. So now it makes more sense now. Yeah. You know?
Were you ever able to actually meet your biological dad?
Yeah, I did it myself. Yeah.
How did you go about finding him, or how did that go and meeting with him? Can you tell me about that experience?
To be honest, you know, the whole drop with that was he had I always say I got a brother that's on that side, and a lot of people was saying his name as far as like my father, and he had a graduation, so I just took it on myself to say, you know what, I'm gonna go down to the graduation because I know that my dad will be there.
Was he from Marshallville as well?
He's not from Marshallville. He's from Macon County. It's like Macon County is Marshallville, but it's other cities like Montezuma, Ideal, Oglethorpe.
That's right next.
Yeah, you know. So he was from those cities, you know. So it was like, I guess it made sense why he wasn't there, because it's like, it's already a small area, but you living here, you living there, you got your own life. Certain stuff that I didn't understand as a child, you know. But when the graduation came, I went there, you know, and I sat there through the graduation, and then afterwards, I went on the field, and when I seen him, he immediately knew who I was, you know. So
he knew you were his son.
Yeah, you know. And when I shook his hand, it was more so one of those things like I think it's like a long time coming type of thing, but it's a surprise at the same time that it's happening right now. Man. You know, so I went and met the other side of the family, stuff like that. But for me, I only was doing it to close that chapter in my life, you know. So it's just, for me, I needed closure for myself to move on. So it's just to not carry any past trauma or anything else from the past.
Or the what ifs.
Yeah, you know, because, you know, with finding that out, and what even made me want to go into that was because, like, when I was in elementary, he was the maintenance man at the school. You know what I'm saying?
The whole time?
Like, yeah, at the elementary. So it's like, for me, I always seen him, had a slight relationship with him. You know, as a child, certain people in the school that you kind of idolize.
Why did he never say that he was your dad?
I mean, for me, being older now, I just feel like it was more of out of respect. You don't tell a child something that, you know, I don't know what the relationship was like with him and my mother.
Did this put a strain on you and your mother's relationship, or were you really understanding to her at those times?
Slightly it did. I mean, being young, you don't know how to manage those type of emotions. So for me, I just felt like revengeful. I felt like it was things that you could have told me, but out of your judgment of the situation, you felt like that's not something I needed to know. And it's something that I had to grow up with, you know? So, but looking at how things are now, I can't say I really judge my mother, because it's a lot of people who have had children with people and they're not together today. You know, we date people all the time, and then we ain't talking to them for the rest of our life, you know? So it's like, it's something that I just came to understand.
Yeah, as you got older, you grew more of an understanding.
I don't hold no resentment toward my mother, because I know she did what she felt was best.
Right.
You know, so I can't hold that against her.